welcome to Wrestlemania!
The irresistible force meeting the immovable object. The greatest professional athlete in the world today. Look at this. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I cannot believe Hogan would stoop to that. Oh, a flying elbow. Punch the leg. It's over. We have a new champion. Look out, the big splash. 1, 2. He got him. Unbelievable. The Warriors won the title.
Michaels drop kicks the ladder, and down goes Razor, and the ladder is teetering back and forth. Long comes Steve Austin. Impossible! He's done the unthinkable on this. Nobody's ever broken it. He did it. He did it. Austin broke the third teeter.
What the hell's supposed to do it, Cole? Oh my God!
Lesnar went for the shooting star press, and Kurt Angle rolled out of the way. Hey, look at this! Donald Trump! Donald Trump! Oh my God! The hostile takeover of Donald Trump on Vince McMahon has happened.
Wants to fight. Oh,
My God, what a shot! Michaels with a B! And yes! Yes!
WBCB presents Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Enough is enough, and it's time for a change!
I can't believe I'm putting my voice to this.
Call in with a question or comment at 215-949-3232 or 888-922-2149.
Thank you for your irrelevant opinion.
And now, here's your host of Pro Wrestling Weekly, Fearon Derry.
the first thing you need to do is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I gotta say. I'm a broadcast journalist. I have a right to my opinion.
Oh, son of a...
I am the best on this microphone, in that ring, even at commentary.
There's the sound of the bell, and we are off on a special prime time edition of Pro Wrestling Weekly. Special WrestleMania prime time edition of Pro Wrestling Weekly. Fearon Derry here with you alongside Lucas the Intern.
How you guys doing? It's WrestleMania weekend. Yeah.
He is excited to say the least. He hasn't been this excited since... No, wait, you haven't had prom yet. And Mike Samsel also joining the program.
Making my yearly WrestleMania appearance.
Didn't you appear for the Rumble also? You do a couple times a year. You're an occasional cameo.
I really am. I'm a troll. I just show up for all the good pay-per-views.
Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
We were going over this earlier. Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble.
When you guys are laboring through, like, May, I'm nowhere to be found.
Oh, you're usually calling baseball games for WBCB. That's
Exactly.
what you're doing. So you're unavailable most of the year, but you made yourself available for this primetime edition, and we're certainly grateful for you because, I mean, it's everybody's favorite time of year. It's WrestleMania. WrestleMania 30, I know. Bringing back all kinds of memories, kicking it off with a montage. That alone, as awful as that theme is, especially with lyrics, it just gets, for me, it gets me going. It gets me fired up. I've been meh up until now. Heard that package now, and from my scale of 1 to 10, 1 being couldn't care less, 10 being excited, absolutely ready to go. It's go time. I went from about a 6, 5.5, somewhere in there. Now I'm at about an 8. By tomorrow night, I'll be at like 9, 9.5.
All right, there's two things. One, does anyone else remember when that was Linda McMahon's theme, too?
I do.
Yeah, sorry to bring that up.
Yes.
Second thing is, I'm a 10. And the reason I'm a 10 for this WrestleMania is, if done correctly, it could be a top 3, 4 of all time. I really do believe that.
That is a big if, though.
I feel like the cards are stacked. Like, with each WrestleMania, it's fine. But every 10 years, you really got to make it something spectacular.
And they certainly have. I mean, the build-up, the return of Hulk Hogan, the announcement, I was going to get into that in the news and notes, but it's certainly notable enough that we should get it pretty much right out of the way. Stone Cold Steve Austin will be at WrestleMania. WWE officially announcing that he will appear at Mania 30. They're playing up the question of what Austin has planned. And I guess we'll have to find out tomorrow night.
It certainly is interesting to see what he is going to have planned and to see what he does. Is my mic off?
I think it might be.
There we go.
There we go.
First day in radio.
Yeah. You've only been doing this for how many years now?
4. It's going to be interesting to see what they elect to do with Stone Cold Steve Austin because, again, he could play so many roles. I don't expect him to get physically involved. What I could see him doing is like a special enforcer of the Bryan Triple H match.
Either that or I'd like to see him, do either that or Taker Lesnar, I would think. I don't know. I'm saying, but I think they would have added that in if it was a special enforcer. I think they would have.
They would have advertised that ahead of time.
They definitely would have.
See, I'm not sure. I think we're going to get a lot of things
Surprises.
we're not quite expecting. Yeah, and obviously in the dirt sheet era and in the reality era, it's so hard to legitimately surprise. But I think there are going to be some surprises. For example,
a few aces and maybe even an 8 or 2 up Vince's sleeve.
Nobody knows. That wasn't good.
No.
Nobody knows who these 3 mystery entrants are going to be for the Royal Rumble, or for the 30-man Battle Royal, I mean.
Yeah, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Right.
Royal Rumble version 1.5.
Yeah, exactly. We know Austin's going to be there. We know Hogan's going to be there, but we don't quite know how yet. We know he's going to be the host, but what level of involvement and things of that nature. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I really do, and I think we're going to get surprised.
Here's something I know well, I shouldn't say I know. I'm fairly certain I'm not going to see it, but I'd like to. You have the potential, and I'd love to see just a little backstage vignette. I really think it's not likely to happen, but this is just the complete fan in me. All right. You have Hogan in the building. You have Austin in the building. You have Cena in the building, and earlier in the day, Bruno Sammartino will be doing autographs for the Access Fan Fest and pictures and whatnot. Mm-hmm. That is essentially, as far as your Mount Rushmore of WWE, that is arguably your 4.
Yeah.
I know. You can make cases for, Savage. But as far as faces of the franchise, you look in the 60s and 70s, Bruno was the guy. Hogan, obviously, in the 80s through the mid-90s. Austin through the Attitude Era into the beginning of the Ruthless Aggression Era. And Cena in the, PG era, Ruthless Aggression through the PG era through now.
Yeah.
That is your Mount Rushmore.
Isn't this still considered the TV PG era, though?
Well, it is. I'm saying through now. I'm incorporating it and including it. But, over the last 50 years, I know they have that WWE 50 DVD or book or whatever it is coming out. Some form of media. I don't know. Shows you how much I've been paying attention.
Documentary on it on Netflix.
But, who other than those 4?
Other than Rock, I would say that's
Rock
probably
and Savage. Those are your 2 arguables. But then who do you take out? Do you swap Hogan for Savage, or do you swap? You could maybe make a case for Austin Rock.
Austin Rock, Hogan, and Bruno.
No Cena?
You're leaving Cena out?
Yeah.
Because you don't like Cena.
Well, no, it's not just my anti-Cena hate. I really, if you're talking Pantheon, all-time great, Cena's there. He's in the conversation. But, if you look at what Rock and Austin, the heights that they took WWE to, it hasn't been seen since the Attitude Era, since Cena's been the face.
Yeah, but that's because they went off, the whole Attitude Era. These guys, because they got away with so much, you could say certain words that you couldn't say, that you can't say now. You could flip off your boss and not have it air. You could do that stuff. That's why because they brought it out of the TV PG era. Now you're giving it back.
I don't know. Do you think that the rating's going to go up percentage points because somebody can say damn or ass on TV?
Yeah, but I feel like it's the fact that the Attitude Era brought it like at first they were in TVPG era. The Attitude Era brought them out of that era, and now they're going back into it, and you're giving it to Cena, and I don't think that Cena could do so much more with, like...
But see, I disagree for this reason. You look at so many superstars who are entertaining now. You look at the Bray Wyatts, the Damian Sandows, the Daniel Bryans, the guys who work in that parameter of what they're doing, and their characters evolved, and they're still entertaining. And quite frankly, Triple H evolves every day and is still entertaining. This new troll Triple H that buries people with vignettes that Stephanie McMahon voices over and stuff like that, I love it. I thought that vignette that they did on Monday night was awesome.
That was awesome.
You evolve in the parameters that you're given. John Cena's been the same since 04.
I was a little bit sour that they added Jeff Hardy into that vignette. I was a little bit like...
Of course you were.
I'm just like, he's going to die at Mania.
Now, they say that your character is best when it's you with the volume turned all the way up to 11. Is this Triple H with the volume turned all the way up to 11?
Oh, yeah.
Just
it's
trolling internet nerds, essentially.
Yeah, it's snarky.
Of which I am one. So I'm not, I don't want to look like I'm looking down upon. No, of which I am one of them, and I have been trolled on many occasions by Triple H over the last decade and a half.
Yeah, it's snarky DX Triple H. He's just doing it in a suit now.
Yeah, he's clean, too.
He's doing it in a suit, and there are less points in between his legs, but that's really the only difference.
I feel like we'll see one of those at WrestleMania. Like, at one point when he's just pissed off enough at Daniel Bryan, where he'll just go, like, DX.
He'll drop a crotch chop.
Yeah.
We'll see. But so much to talk about. The Hall of Fame ceremony tonight. Well, all right, we're coming close to some business here, so we'll take care of that and then give everybody their full time on the other side. But, the Hall of Fame ceremony tonight, what amazes me, usually by now, all of the inductors have been announced, but we've got 3 mysteries heading into the Hall of Fame induction tonight. I mean, we know the Ultimate Warrior's going in, and Linda McMahon. We mentioned the music earlier.
Right.
I don't know if she'll come out to that music.
Because no one else likes Warrior.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I sort of like Warrior. I didn't watch enough matches. I tolerate them. It's not like I don't...
Fair enough. But Jake Roberts getting inducted by DDP. Not a shock there with the whole DDP yoga thing. Lita getting inducted by Trish Stratus. And Carlos Colon getting inducted by 3 people. Carlito, Primo, and Epico, or I guess Diego and Fernando of Los Matadores, however you want to look at it. Yeah, nice to see that they're bringing Carlito back, even though he hasn't been in WWE in quite a while.
He left because of a drug problem too, didn't he? It was like something, he broke the wellness.
There were some allegations. Yeah. It's water under the bridge at this point. But 3 of the entrants, Paul Bearer, Mr. T, and Razor Ramon, we don't know who's inducting them.
I gotta say, I feel like Piper's going to induct Mr. T. They've got to let Piper induct him.
They hated each other.
I was going to say, they legitimately don't like each other.
They don't.
Hogan teamed with T at WrestleMania 1. That seems to make the most sense. I'm surprised they haven't just come out and announced it.
That feels Hogan, Nash, Taker to me.
Yeah. Wait, Nash inducting Ramon. Oh, okay.
Who inducts?
Maybe Kane couldn't, but here's the thing.
Shawn Michaels could induct Razor, too.
Yeah, they had a history in the mid-'90s, plus their involvement with the Clique.
Mm-hmm.
What about, but Kane, people seem to forget that Kane could easily induct Bear as much as Taker could.
I don't know about as much. He could, and it wouldn't be out of place, but it wouldn't be as much.
Yeah, but Taker yeah, it's true, but you don't see Taker going up on the mic like to induct. I couldn't imagine Taker in a suit and tie.
It's completely out of character.
At least Kane could sort of pull off the look with Corporate Kane. He's done a good job with pulling off that look, but like...
All right, we'll get into that and a bunch more. We still have predictions certain to go wrong for WrestleMania. The Hall of Fame induction, a mere 2 hours and 40 minutes from now. That's right. Amazing, this whole primetime thing.
Not that you're counting down.
Oh, no, not at all. And WrestleMania, of course, starts in 24 hours and 40 minutes. Just... Yeah, yes. Keep that ticker going.
Yes.
You know, it's not exactly Jericho's countdown to the millennium, but it'll do. It's not bad, exactly. Not bad for off the fly. All right, we'll take care of some business. We'll get to Ed the Showstopper on the other side, and is that Franklin as well? All right, we'll get to them. Mike Samsel, Lucas the Intern, Fearon Derry here with you for the special primetime edition of Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
Hey, yo, what a thrill for the bad guy to be in the Hall of Fame.
And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your host, Fearon Derry. That was probably one of the coolest experiences of my life.
And hopefully we're going to have some more cool experiences this weekend. All with WrestleMania weekend.
Speaking of cool experiences, actually,
yeah, go take care of the phones. We'll get to your cool experiences in just a moment. You go ahead and take care of that phone. We'll go ahead and get to the phones here with Ed the Showstopper. Ed, what's going on?
Good afternoon or good evening.
Yeah, I know. You're used to saying good afternoon. It's all kinds of things are off here, but in a good way. What's going on?
Vader has a WrestleMania field party in Jersey tomorrow night.
Oh yeah, Eric Sims of VSS Promotions is doing that. He had Vader up here at the Oxford Valley Mall earlier. I got the chance to meet him. Nice guy. A man who lets his actions speak rather than his words.
Yeah, I forgot all about him being up in the area.
Yeah, well, I'll talk a little bit more about that coming up.
And SLW Saturday Night Slam next Saturday at the Columbus Council in Jersey. Tony Atlas, Shane Douglas, and Pitbull Gary Wolf.
Oh, nice. Yeah, their feud from 17 years ago seems to be reviving itself a little bit here.
Yeah, PWS is having something for Scott Epstein.
Oh, okay. That's good to hear.
Yeah, that's at the Garfield Boys and Girls Club. And the Goon, Rocky Johnson, Jay Lethal, Ivan Koloff, and Bill Apter hosts it.
Oh, nice, Bill Apter. Yeah, there's a blast from the past.
And did you ever hear of XWE?
I can't say that I have.
I don't know if that's a legit promotion. It's run by Damon Feldman.
I don't. This is the first I'm hearing of it, so you know more than I do.
Yeah. One of the participants is the Sandman next Saturday.
Interesting. Well,
I'll probably go see.
Yeah, go ahead and look into that. See what you can let us know. Let us know about that next week when we're on our normal time. Thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it as always. They don't call him Ed the Showstopper for nothing.
The main event.
The icon.
The icon.
The phenomenal.
Something phenomenal too.
Yeah. I noticed something. I'll get back to this in a minute.
Yeah, your cool experience. Okay.
Yeah, but there was also TNA has taglines. And this isn't the cool experience, but TNA has taglines like the icon Sting, the phenomenal AJ. You ever notice that? Each wrestler they've got like a.
Well, they're ripping off
an adjective.
They're ripping off of WWF from 20 years ago when everybody had some sort of a second job almost. You had Rick the Model Martel. You had Jake the Snake Roberts. You had there were just TL Hopper, the wrestling plumber, Thurman Sparky Plug, the wrestling race car driver.
That was the worst.
You know, that's a whole nother topic for another day.
Yeah.
We're here heading into the best weekend in wrestling, and we're talking about some of the worst things. Go figure. Well, let's get back to some of the best things. Let's go across the river to Trenton. Let's talk to Franklin. Franklin, you're on Pro Wrestling Weekly.
It's actually Frank, actually.
Oh, Frank. Okay. That's Lucas the intern's fault. It's all your fault.
Anyway, I got some picks, including the ones that I mentioned from last week.
Yes.
First off, for the Undertaker-Brock Lesnar match, I would pick Undertaker to win, let the streak continue. Also, for the Andre the Giant Battle Royale match, I would pick John Cena to win, even though I might be incorrect, but hey, who knew? And also, I would pick, of course, D-Bry to win, of course, the World Heavyweight Championship match against Randy Orton and Batista, even if he beats, of course, Triple H in the match before that.
Oh,
and,
go ahead. All right. Solid picks, except, I don't know, Cena doing double duty, wrestling Bray Wyatt and participating in the Battle Royal. I keep wanting to call it the Rumble. I'm in that same boat.
Well, didn't he, come out and announce that he was going to be in it, and then they said, no, just kidding. I seem to remember some promo where he's like, my hat's in the ring.
And then Bray Wyatt kind of interrupted that and took his focus over, and now Cena is distracted by some buzzards.
Right.
which he may or may not be following tomorrow.
Before getting through that.
Lucas, go ahead.
No. Is Frank still on? Or?
Yeah, he's here.
The thing with... I wanted to bring up, besides the cool experiences, which I keep getting interrupted.
That's fine. Yeah, we'll get back to that in a little bit. Just get to this point.
The Daniel Bryan Triple H match. When is that? Where in the card is that going to be?
It's got to lead off, right?
We'll find out tomorrow, but I would imagine that it'd be the first match. Yeah. So that way, it gives more doubt that Triple H, or more doubt that whether or not Daniel Bryan will win, because you figure, well, if they're starting it first, that means Triple H might win because he'll need the extra recovery time if he's wrestling twice that night. And oh no, panic amongst the internet community. Horror, dread, help, police, murder. No. Okay, maybe not that bad. That's what I get for watching Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
I just think it's going to be interesting. And Frank, one of the matches I'm looking forward to is I think match of the night potential is Daniel Bryan and Triple H. I think those guys are just going to tear it down.
But here's the thing.
And tear each other down.
Did they deem it no disqualification?
No.
It's
that's going to be a last-minute stipulation.
Don't need no disqualification to tear it down.
Yeah, why add extra gimmicks to it? That's because what TNA's for.
If Triple H would win, he would use the sledgehammer at some point. Or Bryan could use a sledgehammer on Triple H at some point.
Who's to say that doesn't happen post-match?
Good point.
Hey, like Jim Ross would say, everything can happen.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that, Vince McMahon included. Frank, thanks for the call. Enjoy the Hall of Fame. Enjoy Wrestlemania. Looking forward to it. Definitely. I don't know. Do we want to get in the predictions now? Or do we want to say, you know what? Lucas has been chomping at the bit for the last 10 minutes ever since we came back from the break. All right, segueing from the cool experience. Do you want me to replay the return just to lead into it?
This better be a good story.
Every single time the phone starts ringing.
I'll get it. Go ahead. Tell your story.
Tell your story. Let Samsel take care of it. He's an experienced veteran here at BCB.
Where were you? What was your first WrestleMania? That's the thing I wanted to get at.
Speaking of cool experiences, you wanted to know. Well, I think I've told my story as far as my first WrestleMania ad nauseum, but I don't know. We have new listeners all the time, so I guess they may not have heard it. So it's not necessarily fair to say. My first WrestleMania experience was actually my first experience in wrestling, period. And that was 21 years ago yesterday. So, yes, my wrestling fandom is now able to go get an adult beverage. That joke didn't work in the warm-ups either.
What was
hold on, I'm still building it up here. Of course, the world's largest toga party from the parking lot of Caesar's Palace back in April 4th, 1993. WrestleMania 9.
It was, wow.
Yeah, and somehow I still became a fan, and I'm still doing this when I probably, in hindsight, should have looked at that and said, forget this. I'm going back to my G.I. Joes.
Yeah, this is terrible. I'm out.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
I'm going back to my Nintendo. How about that? Let's see, 93. I'll go back to my Super Mario World.
Why would you play me like that? I love G.I. Joes. Super nerdy at heart. Anyway, but what about you, Mike? What was your first wrestle?
Well, my first wrestling experience came the Raw after WrestleMania 15 that was here in Philly. So just
be thankful you didn't go to that.
Right, exactly. But one of, obviously I had seen that WrestleMania because catching up on backstory and stuff like that. One of my favorite things about wrestling is it really doesn't take that long to learn the history of it. You can really just kind of jump in anytime and be like, all right, I really need to know Bruno. I really need to know Hogan. I really need to know the important parts of the Attitude Era, and I could just fill in the glitches when I get time.
Yeah, nobody's necessarily clamoring for Tatanka.
Sure.
Buffalo.
And so, it's cool to kind of hop in. So I did hop in kind of late. I guess I hopped in. I wouldn't quite say heyday of the Attitude Era. I would say it was about the 12th hole of 18 on the Attitude Era that I ended up popping in.
There you go. A little golf reference. Yeah. Masters next weekend. Very nice. Very nicely done. And for you, since you popped the question, why don't you go ahead and provide an answer as well?
I'll tell you,
unless you're changing the question.
No,
since
WrestleMania
you've got
25.
The answer.
That was 25th anniversary WWE math. 25th WrestleMania 25. It was probably the coolest experience. Just the thought alone. I'd started watching right before WrestleMania 24. So it was like a huge thing. I was asking, like, because I didn't know it was on pay-per-view at that point. So I'd been waiting the whole year, WrestleMania 25. My mom told me on my birthday, you're going to be able to watch it on pay-per-view, and I was so excited. And each week, they were just building it up. It was Hardys versus the Hardys in Extreme Rules.
Matt versus Jeff Hardy, yeah.
The Big Show and Edge and John Cena, Undertaker versus HBK, and all of those matches I actually fulfilled. I feel like I got to see John Cena lift up the Big Show and Edge at the same time, double AA. But I was heartbroken because the Extreme Rules match where Matt Hardy beat Jeff Hardy in the ultimate, like, how could you do this? And I realized about WrestleMania, at least two matches the heel is going to win. Or at least one or two matches, they got to give it to the heel, and it was. But Taker Michaels, that was probably the coolest match. Like Triple H, Randy Orton, that was all right, but those three matches.
The crowd was deflated after the Triple H or the Shawn Michaels, and I had a Lexorcist moment there.
Yeah, when Michaels kicked out of the tombstone, Taker was in disbelief, and I know it was staged at that point, but it was just like
everybody was in disbelief. I was sitting. I forget where I was for WrestleMania 25. I think I might have been, I don't know. I might have been with former co-host Richie Bleiweiss. I'm just doing all kinds of name dropping.
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, there's some blasts from the past.
Why don't we go to the predictions from?
Who came to play? Richie came to play.
Oh.
Yeah, because he's got the I'm Awesome license plate. That's right.
I'm just saying he came to play.
Okay,
he did.
Open to interpretation.
I see what you did there. All right, we'll get the predictions on the other side as well as, do we want to take it early? That way we can get it out of the way, get the business out of the way. And
sure.
Yeah, because, I mean, international waters, we got to take care of that.
And I knew it was him calling me because he didn't want me to talk. I think that was why he was
is that what it is? He kept calling and hanging up on you?
Yeah, just like...
trolling from across the pond. All right, I do want to let you know, I mentioned earlier we got to talk with Vader, courtesy of our friends over at George's Cards and Collectibles. They round out their triple header over the course of 3 weeks with WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Oh!
He'll be at George's in the Oxford Valley Mall 1 week from today. That's right, Saturday, April 12th from noon until 2. So... I'm sure they'll have, if they're nice to me, they'll have us on in the store. And if you're making your way over there, you can listen to us from noon to 1 and be able to catch most of the line dissipating between 1 and 2. But, I mean, they just do fantastic stuff. In the past 9 months, they've had such wrestling talents as former WWE diva Caitlyn. They've had Mick Foley, Rikishi. I mentioned Vader. They had Shawn Michaels this past summer.
I literally have not forgiven myself for missing Caitlyn.
Do you have a crush on her or something? Because I have a crush on AJ Lee. I mean, I'm just saying.
That's well documented on this program.
Very well documented. In fact, I'm missing the interview.
The interview right now on the WWE Network.
And I swear to, I'm pissed off that Punk is engaged to her. I don't even think it's April.
That was that was dropped on April Fool's Day. Are you really buying into that?
I don't know, but you mess with AJ Lee. You're messing with my emotions.
All right, during the break, we're going to have you go grab a dictionary here at BCB and look up the word gullible. And see if your picture's right next to it.
It's written on the ceiling.
It's under the letter F.
That's a good one.
There are so many places I want to take that, but I can't.
How about you take it to break?
Let's do that. Yes, that's a great idea. Fearon Derry here, filling in on the boards as Nick Cataldi has already taken care of his business for the day, as he was here from noon to 6. So I had to make sure his presence was felt. And I'm sure he's happy about it. And Mike Samsel sitting in here, having a chat about WrestleMania. We've got our predictions certain to go wrong coming up. I promised last week I've got the Wrestling with Disaster lineup. I have it in front of me, so I don't have to go by kind of just guessing and having it. And
my ADHD.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
It's like, what is that? Oh,
I forgot my Adderall last week. But I guess if I had taken it, then I'd be, suspended. Never mind. Chooch jokes. They're awful. Philly's humor. All right, this is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Pro Wrestling Weekly presents Today in Wrestling History, April 5.
On this date in 1992, the World Wrestling Federation held its WrestleMania 8 pay-per-view. In the main event, Hulk Hogan defeated Sid Justice by disqualification. On this date in 1999, WCW Monday Nitro aired live from Las Vegas, Nevada. In the main event, Ric Flair, Diamond Dallas Page, Goldberg, and Hulk Hogan fought to a no contest in a four-way match. On this date in 2004, WWE Monday Night Raw aired live from Houston, Texas. In the main event, Kane pinned Rhino. On this date in 2009, WWE held its WrestleMania 25 pay-per-view. In the main event, Triple H pinned Randy Orton to retain the WWE Championship. This has been Today in Wrestling History, April 5. Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you alongside Lucas the Intern, Mike Samsel sitting in, having a chat, enjoying the awesomeness that is WrestleMania weekend. And that awesomeness extends to international waters, as staying up very late as it's closing in on the midnight hour where he is, none other than the great Harry Barnett.
Well, it feels good to be here back on WBCB 1490 Pro Wrestling Weekly, Fearon, as always. Apart from with Lucas, I just had to throw that shot in.
You know what? I've been too good of a mood to even listen to your crap.
From what I heard, there are allegations that you were trolling Lucas as far as calling in.
Every time I was trying to talk about WrestleMania 25, the phone started ringing.
And Harry, may I just say, if you were doing that, bravo, lad.
Yeah, I even got to say that was probably the great work. That would have been like, I'm going to mess with him.
If I was going to mess with Lucas, I have far more better ways than my failing technology.
I dare you to get in the ring with me, Barnett. I dare you.
What ring? Stop with that. Enough. Crying out loud.
Hey, cut him a break. He's one of those, unbeatable 15, 16-year-olds, whatever you are.
I'm just saying it would be an entertaining match. The Intern versus the International.
The Intern versus the International. It needs a little tweaking, but not bad. All right, let's get to Harry. He's the one dialing long distance here. Come on, Harry, what's going on?
Well, first of all, Ron, I wanted to take the opportunity to say that the show that we did, that we recorded last Sunday, is now active at www.podcastgarden.com/podcast/what's wrong with wrestling. I'll, of course, put the direct link on the Facebook.
Thank you, because I can't even remember all that.
No, I'll put the exact direct link on the Facebook. But I wanted to drop by and talk about something that I just saw on the dirt sheets a minute ago. Now, I know you're not one for the rumors or the last-minute things on the dirt
the rumors, the spoilers,
It's not really a spoiler. It's more... it's more the internet speculation.
Ah, yes.
Where people are still saying that because of the fact that Stone Cold is in New Orleans and, the fact that CM Punk could be there, people are still, all these years later, speculating that they could set up for Stone Cold versus CM Punk. Why can't people just give up on that? Stone Cold retired. He's gone. He's moved on.
I think it's that holding on to the hope, that one last bit of nostalgia. Austin has said in past interviews, I'm feeling better, but feeling better and going in the ring and taking bumps after your knees and neck are...
He did say, though, that if he was to wrestle somebody, he would want to wrestle Punk, but that's just allegations. I mean,
and that's what's fueling a lot of it, are the things that have been said in the past, the Twitter feuds, the verbal jabs back and forth between them. What validity there is to it, I don't know. Whether it's just a smoke screen, I don't know. I'm past the point of Austin wrestling at this point.
Austin kind of has himself to blame for this because he never did the goodbye match.
Technically,
if he can't,
19,
but he never came out and said it. If he comes out in 19 and says, "Hey, I'm done," it probably quells this a good bit.
Yeah, an official retirement match.
Sure.
Technically, though, I would love to see that match because I never got to see Stone Cold wrestle live. And I don't mean like I never got to see him like live on television either. And it would be a treat to see him wrestle like me being.
You never saw Flair either, and Flair's what 65 at this point.
I did see Flair at the WrestleMania 25 was my first WrestleMania. I saw.
Oh yeah, so you did.
Royal
okay.
Rumble. I saw Royal Rumble 2008 when he wrestled MVP.
Well,
I was gonna say, wait, WrestleMania 24 is when the retirement happened. So
no, but I watched him wrestle MVP at the Royal Rumble. I mean, I saw him on.
Gotcha. So you saw it right before. Okay, fair enough. Harry, giving the floor back to you. Yeah.
that was about it. Yeah, I just wanted
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, let me talk a little bit up about the podcast chat that we had. Of course, you do a podcast called "What's Wrong with Wrestling," and this was my first venture into any sort of podcast. And I tell a few stories about talk a little bit wrestling, talk a little bit about Wrestlemania this weekend coming up, and talk a few stories about my experiences here on Pro Wrestling Weekly over the last 5 years here on WBCB. And unlike here on the radio, podcasts give me the liberty to be a little more liberal with the tongue. Although I did make sure to throw a disclaimer in there so I don't get any backlash, hopefully.
Because you can obviously download that to hear all the bad things we said about you. I'm just kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Or is he?
I'm not.
Hey.
Lucas, to tell a true story, he did sit there, explain a story that I didn't even know about how you came into his life. And, I was glad that I could have that on my podcast. And we even talked after. And the next time this happens, because there will be a next time, you are coming on. That's what I'm saying.
Yes. Yes.
You've made him happy. It almost makes up for the fact that his heart is broken because AJ is allegedly engaged to CM Punk.
You had to bring up old wounds.
She's probably nearer to his age than she is to Punk's.
I think she's actually pretty close to split down the middle.
I was going to say, that's almost not entirely false.
She's pretty small. So
I mean, come on. If Lesnar can marry Sable.
Well, I mean... Sable's had work done. We'll put it that way to, again.
Michelle McCool.
Yeah, Taker's got Michelle McCool.
Yeah,
most of Sable's body parts aren't legal
anymore.
What do you mean, like they've got lead paint on them? Or
No, they're just under 18.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, but...
Yikes.
Yeah, her face looks like Joan Rivers' couple operations before. I don't know. I was going for a bad... operation. I just don't want Lesnar to kill me. I don't know.
Stop talking might be a good way to go about that.
I'm an idiot.
Good job.
Before I let you carry on with your show, I just wanted to offer one final prediction, and that is that 24 hours, whatever we are away from WrestleMania, the new WWE champion, it's a simple name, and that is Triple H. And that's all I got to say about that.
Wow. Throwing it out there. Harry Barnett from across the pond thinking Triple H trolls the WWE universe and basically pulls what Hogan did at Mania 9 and puts himself back on the mountaintop when he's well past his prime.
Yeah, but still, I mean, even you think about it this way. Triple H is the COO of the company. Even if Daniel Bryan does beat him, he could still have the quote-unquote authority to win the title still.
To book himself in the match and have it be a four-way?
Yeah, I feel like that could happen. I mean, it wouldn't. I don't think it would be as well received, but
let's get into it here. Let's go into the Mania predictions. I was about ready to say let's take another, but we were out of breaks. We've used them already. I did that smartly because I knew that we'd be prattling on at this point.
Right.
All right. Andre the Giant. Well, we'll start with the pre-show. The pre-show match, part of the 2-hour pre-show. Yeah, I don't know. That's
It's a lot of pre-show.
That is. But that's also a lot of time for beverages.
Yes, accurate.
Are we all going to be, except for me, am I going to be the only one sober by WrestleMania start time? Because that's going to be a fun night, actually.
That depends on who else is in attendance.
Because you don't know how much money you're going to lose.
Well, don't worry. I've got the Let's Go Cena coladas for you. The without the rum in them, as opposed to the Cena sucks Cena coladas.
My brother actually found that hilarious because he knows at least that much that all the kids love Cena and all the adults hate him. So he thought that was funny.
I'll put it to you this way, Lucas. If last year is any gauge, the answer to your question is no. No one will be sober by the time WrestleMania starts.
Yes. That's right. Samsel and I had the opportunity to be live in person, in public, if you will.
Getting a little bit of the happy juice. You were.
We were not sober. I was not.
You were not sober. I was responsible, but
how'd you guys get home?
Because I didn't drive.
You did.
Friend of mine.
A friend of Samsel's. It was the 5 of us who went up. It was a good time. But enough of that. That was in the past. Let's look to now. Let's look to tomorrow night. Let's look to the Fatal 4-Way. The Usos, Los Matadores, Ryback, Curtis Axel, and the Real Americans for the WWE Tag Team Championship.
Usos, but I feel like I'm picking the Usos to win, but they could give, on the slight chance, they could give it to the Real Americans.
I'm leaning toward the Usos as well. That's my pick for it.
I really think...
Samsel?
I'm going to Usos as well, simply because there's no other result that really makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying the Usos too, because they wouldn't give it to them. They wouldn't have them lose it that much. I mean, they're not the New Age Outlaws.
True. Speaking of the New Age Outlaws, they're teaming up with Kane, great segue, to take on the Shield in a 6-man tag match. Who you got?
Shield.
Well, we're all in agreement there.
Triple fist bump in the middle.
No. What do you...
No.
No,
Mr. Superman, no here right now. Just, yeah. I'm a nerd. But what did that have to do with anything? If you're going to do drops on me, you're going to have to do them, and they have to make sense.
Fair enough.
That is not fair. Exactly. See? That was good.
Oh, goodness. The Andre the Giant Memorial 30-man Battle Royal over the top rope and all that nonsense. Royal Rumble 1.5 for 2014. I'd go over the list of the entrants, but then we'd be out of show. 27 of the 30 names revealed. I'm picking Big Show. They've made it so blatantly obvious. It's probably going to be somebody else, but I'm going with Show anyway.
So my hope that this gets Drew McIntyre's career back on track, probably not going to happen. That's what you're telling me?
As long as he's part of 3MB, that track is derailed and in flames.
That track is not even a bonus track if you want to go to 3MB style.
Is it? I'm going Sting. I'm going Sting.
Cameo by Scooby-Doo, apparently.
Yep. I'm going Sting.
That would be that would be a heck of a WrestleMania mystery right there.
I'm telling you, they're pulling out all the spots. I'm just saying, I go Sting.
And Lucas, you have a similar out from left field pick.
I'm just saying, because the rumors are true. And
if the rumors are true.
I'm saying that the 3 that could be entered are RVD, somebody else, but I'm going Punk as the winner. Because look, and this is just because I'm on my last leg with the Punk hopes. But to be honest, the closer that we're getting to WrestleMania, the less I think that Punk is going to actually come back. But
you've got it on the books for this here. All right.
Punk's not coming back.
That's kind of where I'm at, but a boy can dream. All right. AJ Lee and 13 other divas in the Vicky Guerrero Championship Invitational match, or as I've been calling it on here, the Fatal 14-Way.
Oh, yeah.
No jokes, please. Let's just keep it classy, San Diego.
All right.
Anchorman.
I'm thinking Lee. I'm thinking she somehow retains despite the other 13 divas.
I'm going with Rosa Mendez. No, I'm kidding. I think I go AJ too. If not AJ, Natalya.
I don't know, because I'm picking either of the Bellas because they're going to give it the push. The one of them, it's Cena's girl and Bryan's girl are going to give him the push, but on the off chance, this could create a rivalry between the two. Tamina could win. Either
but you're going on the books and saying either of the Bellas, which I probably shouldn't allow, but I will, just in case there's some twin magic involved.
Yeah, Judge Mills Lane. I'll allow it.
Indeed.
Like from Law and Order.
We'll
Not
tell
quite.
you after the show. All right, John Cena and Bray Wyatt.
I go Bray.
That's where I'm going.
I won't see. Okay, look. If WWE does the right thing, they're going to give it to Wyatt, but Cena's going to win.
So the
It's
under 21ers going,
playground.
let's go Cena, and the over 21ers are going
No,
Cena.
it's Cena's playground at WrestleMania.
That was predictable.
When was what name? I can feel like the only, I think 2 times that Cena's lost at WrestleMania in a match was versus The Rock, and then there was another one he lost.
Miz.
Yeah, The Miz.
Yeah, The Miz. How quickly we forget, or at least how quickly we want to forget.
Yeah.
Right. I was going to say, it was kind of like the American Badass gimmick. We all just kind of quietly agreed to repress it.
Exactly.
What, the motorcycle Undertaker?
Yeah. Kind of like how Stevie Richards won the 2004 Royal Rumble.
What?
Never mind. I figured you'd get that, but oh well.
No,
Undertaker
I
and
gave it a
Brock
whirl.
Lesnar. The Streak versus the Beast.
Now, if Punk comes back, here's where it is.
You think he, after losing to Taker last year, comes full circle and causes Taker to lose this year?
If he comes back, this is where it is. I don't think he is, so I take Undertaker.
Yeah, but he's not going to lay down for Lesnar. He doesn't have to lay down for anyone.
This is where, if Punk comes back, I'm not saying it necessarily cost him the match. I just said if Punk comes back, here's where it is.
Wait, maybe Punk takes revenge on Lesnar from SummerSlam, gives Taker the match.
That's a possibility, too. All right. Here it is, the match everybody seems to be looking forward to. Triple H against Daniel Bryan, winner going on to the triple threat match for the
Bryan wins that
WWE
question.
World Heavyweight Championship. Lucas says Daniel Bryan.
I say controversial finish.
Controversial finish. I don't know.
I feel a Triple H win followed by a no, not on my watch, brother.
Oh, you're thinking the Hulkster gets involved.
Yeah.
See, I don't know. Bryan seems like the obvious pick, but I feel like there's this small possibility that we see
Triple H.
Evolution explodes here at WrestleMania 30. Maybe. I don't know.
I wish you could see me quietly staring through the radio.
I've been setting up all show for that.
Sure have.
Yeah.
Did you get to sleep last night or no?
A couple hours.
Okay.
That and a couple energy drinks, good to go. Little pomegranate blueberry action.
Yo,
gotta love it. Hey, it's better than my Ramon impression from last week that you heard earlier.
That's true.
Yeah. I don't know. There's I do things. At least I try to. Now, I'm going Daniel Bryan. As much as as fun as it would be to watch the internet and the live crowd explode, riot, and everything else, Bryan has to take it here, leading to the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match. Randy Orton, Bautista, and, as we're all presuming, Daniel Bryan.
I say it ends up becoming a 4-way and Bryan wins.
You go first, Ron.
How about this? I'm even going to throw this in there. I say controversial finish where Triple H wins. Hogan makes it a 4-way. Bryan submits Triple H to win the title.
That's very detailed.
Yeah.
And we'll mark the tape just in case that actually happens tomorrow. Bryan has to be the obvious pick, so that's what I'm going with. But maybe it's not that obvious.
You guys want to hear my thing?
Maybe it's not, but everybody's saying... Now, don't forget, last year's WrestleMania was awfully obvious, too.
True.
You guys want to hear what I... Look, as much as I...
We're going to hear it whether we want to or not, so go for it.
As much as I want Bryan to win, he's not going to win the title at Mania. Batista is going to win the title at WrestleMania in the main event. And hear me out on this, even the listeners. I don't want you guys calling in at the last 1 minute. Look.
Deal with it.
WWE loves to slap us in the face when it comes to stuff like this. They didn't have to have Ziggler cash in it on Monday Night Raw. They could have had him cash in. So here's the thing.
Not at Mania, though. That's my argument.
Batista wins the title at Mania. You give him one night to let the emotion, just hatred flow through, and he drops the title to Daniel Bryan on Raw the next night.
No, that would be a disaster. That would be literally the worst thing they could do.
More than likely. All right, real quick, because I've got about a minute and a half. I mentioned it last week. Wrestling with Disaster, the final cut, coming to the old ECW Arena June 14th. Here's your lineup so far. Corey Castle against Lance Anoa'i, Samu's son. Brutal Joe Gibson, the current Monster Factory heavyweight champion, against Dr. Lamar Porter. Bilvis Wesley against Danny Doring, an ECW mainstay. A dog collar match, Revenge of the Pitbull. Pitbull Gary Wolf against the franchise Shane Douglas. The BWO, Stevie Richards, the Blue Meanie, and Thomas Rodman against the Monster Factory, Mark Cruz, Gray Wolf, and Mike Spanos. All great lads down there. And now your double main event, Samu and Alpha Jr. You might remember him as Manu from WWE.
Sure, yeah.
Against the Powers of Pain, the Warlord and the Barbarian.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a WWF throwback. And also in there, this was great in ECW. I'd imagine it'll be great now. Sabu against Too Cold Scorpio. Tickets go on sale this Monday, April 7th, the day after WrestleMania. For more information to purchase tickets, go to WrestlingWithDisaster.com.
Do it.
That's going to do it for us here. Thanks again to all of you for tuning in this late hour. Joe LeCompte is up next with the 60s through the 90s and beyond here on 1490 WBCB.
1490 WBCB, Levittown, Fairless Hills, Trenton.